I'll see you at the top. I rise, been through a lot, and whether or not I climb, no one can stop my grind, 'cause I'm going.
Good morning, y'all. I know it's been a couple weeks, or a week, or I don't freaking know. I've lost track since I made a video last. I just needed some time off. I'm not gonna lie, the big over $700 fuel tax really took it out on me. Was a little down, a little upset. I don't like the fact that, let's see if I can get this moved. There we go. Sorry. So yeah, took a little bit of time off. I went and took some home time. Ended up staying at home a lot longer than I originally planned. I was looking into other things and whatnot, but I ended up taking a total of about 5 days off at home recently. So yeah, just not having a good day today with making this video. All right. Sorry about that, guys. There were some changes though. I have decided that I'm not going to be OTR anymore. At least for the time being. Where I live out in the West Coast, there is a major contract, a dedicated contract, based out of Corinne, Utah. I decided I was going to jump on that and give it a try. It makes it to where I'm having dedicated miles. I'm with the same customer day in and day out. My starting point and my end point's the exact same. There is really no deadhead miles because I'm literally starting, delivering, and returning back to where I started my trip. So, yes, obviously, on the pay settlement that you will see, out of one of the two pay settlements you will see that I did have some deadhead miles on there, because I was literally coming on. That was during the transfer of going from the OTR division over to the dedicated division that I am on right now. So now we will see how it works out. The pay is definitely much lower than being OTR, but I'm much closer to home. Much closer to the home, so I can get home more often. I have dedicated customers, so I know I'm always going to have some kind of load, some kind of miles. So, and then on top of that, for an owner operator here at this customer, they give you half price fuel. So I am paying a hell of a lot less than I would be if I was OTR. You'll see on my pay settlement, I actually put in like 140, close to 150 gallons. And I only paid a little over $300 for that fuel. So this customer, as long as you fill on the customer's property, you get half priced fuel. If you fill outside of the customer, obviously you're paying what the public would pay out on the sign. So it is a little bit of a refresher. I've had it's a mixture of refrigerated loads right along with dry van loads. So I haven't pulled a refrigerated trailer in years. But it was a little bit, I had to take a little quick refresher course on everything. Not bad. I mean, I've done it before, so I knew the basics. But yeah. And then the prior week before I went and came on to this dedicated account, I had some somewhat decent miles. I did have a little bit of frustration with the fifth wheel here on this truck. For some reason, even now, still, it's having a hard time releasing. My automatic release switch inside the truck only worked once since I've had the truck. Other than that, it hasn't worked. And I'm pretty much figuring that's pretty standard, because every truck I've ever been in, whether it's a Freightliner, a Volvo, I think the Volvo I had when I was with Night Transportation was the only one that switch worked on a consistent basis. Other than that, from my experience, those switches are useless. They work maybe every now and then. So, I don't know. Sorry, the sun's coming up, so there we go. So I don't know, maybe the manufacturer needs to figure something out on that. So, because those switches don't really work all that often. Either way, I've had that issue. Before I came onto this dedicated account, I also got my B service done, which was pretty painless. I mean, just went in, got the oil change, everything that includes with a B service. I ended up doing it about a little over 2,000 miles early, because I didn't want to end up having to be doing it late. Like there's quite a few owner ops that I have ran into that have ended up doing it late. So yeah. I mean, other than that, it's been going pretty well. I really need to get better at speaking to the camera and stop saying all the time. Either way, we'll see how this contract goes. I did a couple loads. After taking those 5 days off, technically 6, because I drove down about 2 hours. I drove down from my home to Corinne, Utah, and they didn't end up having any loads for me, which irritated the hell out of me. I'm not gonna lie. They told me to come down, we'd get you running, and they ended up bringing me down and didn't have anything for me, so I sat. So technically 6 days, but I was home for 5. Ended up getting a little over 1,000 miles, and was I'm not gonna lie, I personally thought I was gonna owe money. I ended up being in the positive, so I can't complain. But this is all before I signed the contract to this dedicated account. So this pay stub that's going to be coming up next week will be interesting, because I will be on this dedicated account's pay. So I was in the positive because I was on the OTR pay. Now, I think the next week I'll do the video on, obviously, the differences between the OTR pay contract and this dedicated contract, at least the dedicated contract where I'm at. I don't know, Swift has quite a few dedicated contracts for owner ops that you can go on, and they all pay differently. So I know a gentleman I follow here on YouTube and whatnot, the Fly Rabbit James, he's on a dedicated account out there on the East Coast, and he's making really good money. I'm sure if you call him and you ask him questions, he's more than willing to help you and tell you. So I don't know exactly what his pay is. I don't think he's ever actually said what his pay is. If he has, I haven't seen that video. So, but next week I'll break down the pay. I'll break down everything. I had to re-sign my whole lease contract because they had to take out the OTR pay and put into the dedicated account pay. Now, I didn't have to re-sign everything. All I had to do is re-sign the pay, the pay portion, and what I was responsible for on this dedicated account. So, yeah. So, I mean, I can't really, I can't really give you a yay or nay on this account yet. I figured I'm going to give it a couple weeks, see if I'm making some money. If I am, then I'm going to stay on it. If I'm not, then obviously I got to figure some things out. So, sorry, got distracted there from a driver driving by me. I am currently just sitting here at the dedicated customer, waiting to see if there's a load. Now, unfortunately, I came into this during the slow season. Yes, it is going to pick up here in a little bit, but currently it is a slow season. So the dedicated customer has to not only give loads to their actual drivers, then whatever's left, they're trickling down to us contracted drivers who are here. So now with this contract, there's not all of us are owner ops. There are company drivers that are here. For Swift company drivers that work out of this customer as well. So the few owner ops that I've ran into, they're all talking positive. They all have made really good money here. There's only one that I have ran into where she said she was making really good money, but then the other day she's like, I don't know, I may leave the contract because of all the deductions and whatnot. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying I'm going to give it a couple weeks and see. But I'm excited. I get to go home at least for a 34-hour reset each week, because the customer does require that you have a full clock every week. So with that being said, I can take more than just a reset every week. And as an owner op, I was told by the owner op driver manager that I have, he's a really good guy out of this contract. He has told me as an owner op, I can do basically whatever I want. I can, as long as I'm following the rules for Swift and the customer, I can basically do whatever I want. I can, I don't have to have a recap. I don't have to have my reset. I can run off my recaps, but I am limiting myself to being able to have, do certain runs and certain deliveries if I am running off of my recaps. So he did remind me of that. He did say that when, I'll give you a little backstory on this too. This dedicated customer, I actually started my driving career with him back in 2015. As a company driver at that time, I hated it. They've changed quite a bit. There are certain things that are the same that I've noticed since I've been here. I was only getting paid like 25 cents a mile back in 2015 when I first started on this contract, and that was about 20 to almost 30 cents less than what a brand new rookie going OTR would have been. So I only lasted for like 6 months when I was here the last time as a company driver, and I moved on. Now, with that said, the terminal manager is the same as it was from back in 2015 when I was here last as a company. So we caught up. He told me quite a bit has changed. If you come onto this dedicated account as a company driver, it's still lower than what a OTR driver would make. I'm going to assume. They're starting you out at like 44 cents a mile. So, I don't know. What I've noticed is there's a great mixture of owner ops and company drivers here. There's quite a bit of owner ops and quite a bit of company drivers. And very little of the actual customers' drivers that I've noticed. So at least at this DC, there's not a lot of actual customers drivers. There's a lot more of us who are contracted that are out of this DC, and supposedly from the badge they made me, Swift has been at this customer for over 30 years. So That's a big thing. Obviously, they're doing something correct for this customer, and this customer really trusts Swift, at least at this DC. Now, I know they have lost a couple of the other DCs that they had out here on the West Coast. I don't know what that was about, but they have kept this DC here in Corinne, Utah for over 30 years. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. So, just starting something new while still being in the same company, while being here at Swift. So we'll see what happens. I know my driver manager, my front radar hasn't been working. My front radar and the automatic braking for the truck hasn't been working on my truck since like the second month I've had this. I've taken it into the shop when I was OTR and I was up in Sumner, Washington. Those guys up there told me that it's not a DOT violation. Who knows if it is or if it isn't. But it had to go into a Kenworth to get fixed, and it is what it is. So, and I haven't taken it into a Kenworth yet because I'm afraid that it's going to be like 2-3 day, excuse me, 2 to 3 days to get it fixed. I would hope that it'd be much quicker, but it's Kenworth. The majority of the time I've ever been in the past in my trucking career gone into either Kenworth or Peterbilt, it's been more than a 1 day. It's taken at least 2 for you to get out, and I currently can't afford to sit for 2 days. Now, the great thing about Swift is Swift will give you a loaner truck, but at the same time, unless I'm going to be out of this truck for more than 48 hours, I don't want to get into a freaking loaner truck. So, yeah. That's just my personal opinion. If the truck's going to be down for more than 2 days, then fine. Yeah, I'll get into a loaner so I can continue moving. I have to, if that's just good business sense. So, sorry, I've just kind of jumped around all over on this video. I know I have, so hopefully y'all are somewhat keeping up. But I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see if this dedicated account actually works out for me. If not, I really have to think about it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. Personally, in my opinion, I only have 3 options. I'm either going to go back OTR, or I'm going to go refrigerated here at Swift, or I'm just going to leave Swift altogether and go to a previous company that actually is based in the state that I live in and I have worked for before. They've offered me a position to come back as a company driver, or I might just walk away from the trucking industry altogether. I don't know. It all depends. I'm trying to make this work here as an owner op here at Swift. I have seen all this success from drivers who are here. I have tried to take as much of their knowledge. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I know everything, because I don't. Obviously, this is my 4th time trying to be doing a lease purchase program. So, yeah. So every successful owner op that I see, or any owner op I see, I try to go up and talk to them and go, hey, how long have you been doing this? Hey, do you have any advice? Hey. And that's basically the way I look at it, is you gotta be open to being able to be humbled by somebody else's opinion or their knowledge, and because it may be something that you don't know, or you do know it, but they know it differently than you, and they're giving you advice on how they do it, and then you're giving them advice on how you do it. So, and most of the owner ops that I've ran into here at Swift, we're all pretty good. If you have a question, we're all going to talk to you. I think there's only like one that I've ran into that have just flat out refused to talk to me. He's like, no, I'm not talking to you at all. And he just ignored me. And it's fine. I went and bugged him. So we shall see how this works. I'm hoping that I'll be successful at it. Keeps me close to home, keeps me on a dedicated customer to where I'm not guaranteed, but at least I know that I'm going to have loads. So they're telling me that I should have a minimum. They're, at least for us owner ops, they shoot for a minimum of about 2,100 miles. Yes, that is low, but that is their minimum that they shoot for all owner ops that are on this account. And they have quite a few of us here. There's a good mixture, like I said earlier in the video, of company and lease purchase owner op drivers. But what I've ran into, there's a lot more of us lease purchase guys here than there are company. So they try to keep us moving, what I've been told. If you can, there's quite a few guys that I've talked to that are making much higher miles. But there was a gentleman I talked to yesterday. He goes, yes, your miles are a huge positive, but he goes, in this account, as long as you are getting your fuel here at the customer, you're gonna make money. As long as you're getting your fuel and your def here. Now, I probably will not get my def here, because they have the def locked up. You have to go into the shop. You got to get the piece of paperwork, just like at any other Swift terminal. You got to get a piece of paperwork, and you got to write down, and you got to get a key, and you unlock it, and so on and so forth. That's just a hassle for me. I'd rather just go into an outside place like Maverick, Pilot, Loves, TA, whatever, and just be able to do it right there at the pump. Yes, I'm probably going to be paying a little bit more, but I'm paying for the convenience of being able to literally just do it right there without having to make a whole bunch of extra steps to get the def. But the owner op that I was talking to yesterday, he gave me a little bit of hope for this, so we shall see. Hopefully y'all like, share, comment, whatever on my videos, and stay tuned. So I'm going to show you guys 2 pay stubs, seeing how pay settlements, seeing how I haven't done a video in a little bit, but yeah, you'll see the first week when I was still OTR, and then the last pay stub you'll see is the most recent one where I was off for basically 6 days. So with that being said, I will see you guys on another video. All right, bye.